Our guest is Josh Hartnett. Hello.
Hello.
Enjoying your time in Poland?
Yes, it's short, but it's sweet. I've been here a few times now over the years, and every time feels like home. Very welcoming.
Short but intense.
Yes, exactly.
Let me say a name of one movie, and let's see if you remember it.
Okay.
The Faculty.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's a Robert Rodriguez film, and I really like that film. And I'm mentioning it because I realized before the interview that you went from Faculty through Virgin Suicide, through Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor, to Valley of the Gods by Lech Majewski. That is some journey in terms of acting-wise.
Yes, it's a very. I've always tried to find films that are most unlike films that I've done before, and sort of ran out of different genres and had to pursue just pure art.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, Lech Majewski, of course, is one of the most original directors, I think, not only in Poland, but worldwide. Yeah. My friend just told me a few days ago that in which other film will you see the scene in which rock gives birth to, some kind of being Avenger? This is only Lech Majewski who could do that. So, was it the vision of Lech Majewski that really drew you to that project, or something else?
In a way, it was more Lech himself. So sitting down with Lech and seeing that spark in his eye and understanding that he was going to make something that was purely personal and unlike anything else out there, I knew that I would be in good hands because I saw his other films, but I wasn't necessarily interested in whether or not he was going to make the type of story that I was into. It was more just like I wanted to be a part of his journey, as an artist. We hit it off as people, right away. We had a lot in common, bizarrely. And so I was just, I was on board from the minute I met him.
Are there any stories, because you mentioned it's not that it was a story you were it's not that he made a story that you're really interested into, you just connected as a people. So are there any stories that you are particularly interested in? Like you get a script and, okay, this is something I usually like to do. Some kind of, value that you were looking for in the script, stories, films.
Something that's going to be thought-provoking, I guess. It's not. But this was. I am interested in this film story. It's not that I wasn't interested in it. It's just that I would have done anything with Lech because I wanted to have the experience of working with him. Yeah. I would love. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's mostly. I want to be involved in films that are going to be unlike other films that I've done. Things that are thought-provoking. Things that are going to make people stop a little bit and not just digest quickly, but actually kind of think about afterward. I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Thought-provoking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when you read that script and when you met with Lech, what you say thought-provoking? What were your thoughts when you talked to him and about the story, about this world? What was your main impression of the ideas that Lech wants to convey, and you will help him to do?
Well, what's interesting is that Lech is not as literal as all that. We spent most of the time that we had our conversation talking about other films, talking about other people's films, and talking about art and talking about our lives and our families. And it wasn't necessarily so much about like what he was going to achieve in this film. And when I read the script, I had a lot of questions because the script was basically written in storyboards. So I had a lot of questions about what the character would be doing, like what is his trajectory, what's his arc, and Lech was not interested in telling me, and I found that interesting because it wasn't that he didn't know, it's that he wanted something that was more of an emotional reaction for him as a viewer of the scene, and so there was no direct arc for the character. I tried to insert a direct arc, and he was like, no, he didn't want that. He wanted it to be from scene to scene, something different, because it was going to fit together in a way that was more of an emotional journey for him and less an intellectual journey. So I was struck intellectually by his ability to separate the sort of linear storytelling that most people use in film in order to engage an audience, and his sort of personal adherence to symbols and emotions, and also trying to engage an audience through that.
It's interesting what you're saying about there not being any direct arc of the character, because your character, for me at least, has also some psychological depth. He's a deeply wounded man who has just had a breakup with his wife, and he tries to somehow deal with that. So there is that kind of emotion and psychological depth in this character. So it's interesting that it was achieved without this, working in a direct arc, with a direct arc.
Yeah, he didn't want to discuss it. So for me, it was about, some of the things that the character does, for instance, why is he angry at Bernice's character in that scene near the Trevi Fountain? It's just that Lech had a feeling. He wanted there to be some heat there, and it wasn't. Why is her car snake-like? What is it that it's just that brings up a lot of questions, and I have yet to kind of process the whole thing. So I only saw it for the first time tonight, so I don't feel like I can actually give you the right answer, or the answer that I'd like to give. I feel like I need to see it again. I feel like I need to also sort of let it percolate for a minute.
Yeah, but I understand that because you say whenever you wanted to insert a direct arc, Lech Majewski said no, let's not do that. But I imagine that you had to do something as an actor.
Yes.
In your head, I don't know, come up with some background on maybe think about the reasons why the character behaves in that way, and at the same time not do what the director didn't want you to do.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So there was a struggle inside of me every day that probably lent itself pretty well to the way the character was supposed to be struggling. But it's part of the film that I found most revealing today, and I could change this if I saw it again tomorrow, or it might even just change in my mind overnight, but was the caged people at their doing what they were passionate about. And how they didn't want to leave their passions, right? That's how I interpreted it. That it was like these people that had defined themselves based on this one thing, and it was very obvious to us as an audience member. That's a ballerina. That's a scientist. That's a whatever. These people were obviously passionate, top of their game, whatever. But given the opportunity to leave that, and Lech, I think, is interestingly pointed out that those. No matter how good you are at something, that can also be a cage. You need to kind of branch out. Life isn't about achievement necessarily. And so when these people were allowed the opportunity to leave, they didn't. I find that to be the case for me. If I'm too dogmatic in my approach to the work because that's the way I've done it, I want to do it that way again, I lose interest, or I don't feel like I'm growing. And in this situation, I was asked to do something that was outside of the box. Trust the director's emotional reaction and think less about how I wanted the character to look, or how I wanted the character to feel through the whole thing. Letting go is a difficult thing to do, and
it is.
I had to in this film, in this process.
Leaving Valley of the Gods aside for a moment, I also have to, because I'm a big horror movie fan.
Oh, right, okay.
And I have to ask...
Hence the faculty.
I have to ask you about the two films you've done. 30 Days of Night.
Okay.
And of course the TV series, Penny Dreadful.
Yes.
Do you have any affection towards horror genre? Or were the projects you chose because, like you said, you always want to do something unlike the previous film?
It is bizarre how often I'm attracted to horror genre. I think it's because there's so much opportunity to tell a story about what we're going through in a fun way. It's like sci-fi.
Yeah.
There's the chance to detach from your reality, but still tell the story of your reality. And,
for example, about your fears, I feel that horror movies are great language to talk about our fears and to kind of confront them.
And even beyond that, our political situation or our love, or, there's so much love in Frankenstein, and there's so much to be, I don't know. It's fairly obvious, but if Mice and Men and Frankenstein are very similar, but one is considered high art and one is considered horror, but people are starting to come around to the idea that Mary Shelley was a genius, and I find that sort of taking something that is initially considered lowbrow and being able to kind of find the elevated part of it, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And working with people who are interested in that as well, like John Logan and David Slade was obsessed. He was obsessed with that movie, and it was so much fun to see how much he had at stake in the film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.